and heal our planet, really.
Yeah. And one of the things about cannabis is that it does have that calming
Mhm.
effect, even if you're not using THC and getting the psychoactive effects of the anandamide in your body. Even just cannabidiol it has a calming effect, it seems. And
Absolutely. On the skin, in a balm, calm yourself, put it on the back of your neck and just breathe, and it'll go literally right through the blood-brain barrier, and everything is calming. So yes, so many calming properties that have nothing to do with psychoactive THC.
yeah. And can you speak to anandamide and the positive effects that the cannabis plant will have, and why anandamide is such a good thing for your entire being?
Yeah, so anandamide is the endogenous cannabinoid, the name for the endogenous cannabinoid. And your audience probably knows it comes from the Sanskrit meaning joy.
Just to interrupt you for a second,
Right.
endogenous is what is created inside of your body. So endogenous cannabinoid system is the system that's inside your body, just so people understand that word. Go
Correct.
ahead.
So we make anandamides. So our body will produce those at times, for instance, as you mentioned earlier, breastfeeding. Mom and baby are perfectly happy. Mom's producing a lot of anandamide in the breast milk. So baby's not in pain. Baby's gut, gastrointestinal tract relaxes. Everything's calm. Baby goes to sleep. Well, and the unfortunate thing since 1937, when the plant was outlawed in our life, is and when we stopped the practice of breastfeeding when I was a child, it's like, oh, it's much better to get milk out of a bottle. So what we've done for now, 3 generations, if you will. My husband's 81 and born in 1938. So his mother used to buy elixirs of cannabinoids from pharmaceutical companies, because until it was outlawed, that's what everybody had on the shelf. And so you got your pain oil or elixir. So THC is the plant-based, phyto-based anandamide. So that's the one that binds the CB1 receptor and the anti-inflammatory CB2 receptor a little less strong. So the best interaction is with the CB1 receptor, the anandamide. So we call THC the phyto for your endogenous. You don't make it as much anymore, but I'll talk a little bit how you make it, that anandamide, and can produce a little bit more. But the phyto anandamide is the THC in the plant. So that gives you a calm, that gives you a joy, that gives you a high. You're not in pain. You sleep real well. You don't, things like that, in those examples I just gave with a mom breastfeeding her baby and delivering anandamide. Another way that anandamide is produced is hugging, is meditation. And what are we doing right now? We're doing the opposite. We're stopping the production of endogenous anandamides. We're saying don't touch anybody, live in fear of somebody. That turns off the production in your body. So yoga, meditation, even massage with other essential oils can bring out the production and that calm that comes out of you. And that's a lot of those experiments are showing that those practices like yoga and meditation and calming things are the result of your stimulating the expression of your endogenous, of your anandamide, of your joy. So we can take charge of our own life again if we look at ways to produce anandamide. If we and of course we can't do it right now. You're not allowed to do massage. Don't touch anybody. So all of the practices of the lockdowns and social distancing, this is stopping the natural, putting us in fear and anxiety, is not allowing us to produce the anandamide. So take a nice warm bath and with some sea salts and some bath salts. calm, practice yoga. That's going to turn on your endogenous calm in this hysterical situation we're in, and you yourself can stay well, and that relieves the immune suppression, and you'll make your own. You won't get sick. You won't be susceptible to any virus infection, including the SARS coronavirus #2. So do you think there are ways to generate the production of your endogenous anandamide? Simple ways.
Yeah, that is absolutely fascinating. And, one of the things I've noticed is that a lot of the medical doctors and social workers and people that are being interviewed these days are saying that one of the biggest problems with this entire crisis is that stress. And, they're advocating for making sure that people aren't completely isolated, that they're talking to someone or dealing with their mental health. So anandamide can really help with the mental health aspect of this, is what you're saying, basically, right?
Calm music, listening to fun music, laughing with friends is what we're doing now. And yes, we're social distancing, if you will. There's only a few of us and we're a few feet apart and the table's in the middle. So yes, we're laughing, we're listening to music and remembering that song from the 60s or 70s world. At any rate, so those kinds of things, just even playing the ocean, which is, my frustration of having the beaches here in Carlsbad, California, shut down from people. No. If I don't get that walk out in nature here in the ocean with the sun, with natural vitamin D and grounding of my feet, I can't turn on my own anandamide. So I go out and I walk every morning with Dr. Rossetti and is a way to calm us down so we can all calm this storm and heal everyone. And you're exactly right. This isolation, and it's the wrong thing to do. If we can just stimulate that natural anandamide, we'll be fine. But if we can't, a nice broad spectrum as oil from hemp, sublingually a couple times a day, a nice cup of hot lemon water and tea, a chamomile tea, just go to sleep, relax, valerian, some of these things which are so calming and healing.
That's really good advice. And then, from the physiological perspective, when it comes to the lungs and the ways that the cannabinoids can actually stimulate the immune system to prevent the fibrosis in the lungs that leads to the pneumonia, which is really what's killing people.
Right.
From this, the virus is triggering something, obviously, but
the flame is too high.
Yeah, right. So explain to me how and you really sort of have, but I wanted to just kind of drill down on this. So for people who are in the respiratory distress, who are about to go on a ventilator, what would you recommend in terms of cannabis, and how can that help them in that stage?
Well, I would be doing, as we talked about with the atomizer, I would be inhaling menthol, to open up the lungs, as we used to use mentholatum as children. I'd be putting it on my skin, in my lungs. We know of cannabis bombs. So if you have a bomb with coconut oil and a few drops of essential oil menthol and put it all over your lung tissue, and you'll just start to breathe easier, and then put that towel over that tea kettle or that atomizer, and then just breathe in the limonene, the lemon water oil with cannabis oils, full spectrum hemp oils in that atomizer, in that vaporizer. Breathe that in and inhale that, and put it on your skin, and you'll open up your lungs and you'll be able to breathe.
And since cannabis is banned from hospitals,
right,
and people who are on respirators and trying to survive that, is there advice you would give to medical professionals who are treating people who are on ventilators in that regard? I mean, is there something that would be legal in the hospital that they should consider?
A bomb with menthol.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I haven't heard of that as a treatment or that anybody's even really thinking about it.
Well, unfortunately, the hospitals aren't the place to be.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Our medicine has been, off topic for, since 1937. There's not a lot. I mean, yes, for the people who are awake and aware, the integrative, the functional medicine, people like that. Yeah, we can get there with them. But I'm sorry, the hospital. I mean, my husband has COPD. If he walks in there, I'm like, husband, don't go anywhere near any place. Don't cough in public. And I just take care of him at home. I mean, it's unfortunate, but there really is no solution for the hospital because we can't get healing foods. I mean, the foods are damaging the everything about a hospital where they're pushing vaccines and toxic ingredients, and things are actually more toxic to you. Everybody's at more of a risk. So I guess the best thing I can say is stay out of there.
Yeah. And I felt sort of alarmed to hear a couple of doctors talk about how the people who are being intubated are heavily sedated. Mm-hmm. And, when they recover from that, I know that sedation, like any kind of anti-anxiety or antipsychotic or all of those medicines really can wreak havoc on your system. And I know that cannabis is something that can successfully help your body recover from those drugs. Explain to me what people who do recover, they're no longer intubated, they've survived the pneumonia, they go home. What can they do to sort of get their body back into balance after having been pumped full of these drugs?
Yeah, I'd be detoxing with some of those juices. Like the most fabulous detox is literally that we use it all the time here in California, the Verde Vita. It's called Verde Vita green juice, and it's a cold press cannabis juice. It's one of the most fabulous detoxers of chemicals, all kinds of things. So that is what I recommend, juicing leaves. If you can get the full spectrum oils sublingually, that will slowly detox that out of your body. That's how you do it.
Right. So this is great information. And if you had an audience of medical practitioners who are on that front line in the hospitals dealing with all of this, what would you tell them, or how would you encourage them to use integrative medicine as part of their therapeutic response?
Well, this is actually what we do for a living. We educate the doctors. So I think I sent you over a couple of PowerPoints from various talks we've been in, and we show them the molecular mechanisms, and we show them the doctors and the integrative specialists. Unfortunately, with AMA and most MDs, they're just simply not open-minded. And if you're not open-minded and you don't want to be educated, but what we do, I mean, and many clinicians and physicians do come. We go into physicians' offices at lunchtime and we show them, we give samples of the various juices and things and show how simple it is and how well their patients do. And usually when you show, and mostly I'm talking the sickest of cancer patients, because that is my background as cancer therapy and AIDS therapy. And so we show how using cannabis, even with traditional medicines and chemotherapies, we can detox, we can have the patient respond to the medicine, and at the same time clear the drug before it does side effects, take advantage of synergies in medicines and food, and show them how to use food as medicine. And again, everything we've talked about today, the balms, the skin creams, the salves, the inhalation, everything we've talked about is what we do with patients and clients. So we go and we meet with the doctors and we educate them. And so when the doctors see their patients do well, that's all they care about in life. So there is resistance, but when the patient says, no, I want Dr. Judy and Dr. Frank to talk to you. And basically what we do is we bring the products in. We know they're clean. We show the quality assurance certificates from every step of the process. And most of what we use is medicinal. We rarely go in dispensaries because we can't qualify the products there, but we do know good brands, and we encourage doctors